Stumps on day 3 at the Adelaide Oval in what was an extended session given the rain that we had early on in the day, and it sees a happy Indian team in spite of the loss of Virat Kohli just before the close of play. Australia added another 44 to their overnight score of 191 for 7. India managing to keep a lead of 15 and extending that courtesy some attritional batting from Cheteshwar Pujara. What a test match he's having. Unbeaten on 40. KL Rahul with hit and miss sort of 44 innings at the top to get things going. The lead for the visitors 166 after 3 days of play. This is ESPN Cricket for Match Day with VVS Lakshman, Ajit Agarkar and Brad Hodge in just a moment. You'd be very happy if you were India going into that, Ajit.
Yeah, I mean, that wicket of Virat Kohli would have given Australia a little bit of happiness going into that third day or finishing that third day, but otherwise India well on top. I mean, if they bat another session, maybe session and a half, the game could well be beyond Australia. It's still not away from Australia, but India in a really strong position. Again, Pujara, really tough day of Test cricket from both teams. You know, really good bowling, batting what needs to be done on that particular wicket and in the given situation. So good fun watching that day of Test cricket.
I mean, good old-fashioned attritional Test cricket. Just when you thought, good session for India, could go unbeaten in the last session, one wicket, and you suddenly look, the lead isn't that much. Runs have not been scored quickly. So it's not quite India running away with the Test yet.
No, and credit to the Australian bowlers.
Yes.
We know that Pujara is that kind of batsman who plays, long time. Little defensive in his approach, but today even Virat Kohli, who's a natural stroke player, plays with a lot of flair. He didn't get too many opportunities, except when Travis Head came and Tim Payne wanted to rest Nathan Lyon, who was bowling consecutively and consistently from one end. But I thought it was great disciplined bowling from all the Australian bowlers. Nathan Lyon, Pat Cummins during that long spell, even Mitchell Starc. So overall, I think Australia will be really pleased because post-T, there could have been chance with Pujara, a centurion in the first innings, and Virat Kohli. We know the quality and class of Virat Kohli to just accelerate and put pressure on the Australian bowlers. But that didn't happen because of quality bowling.
I mean, 3 of you have sat here for 3 days and said this is a flat pitch and whatnot. And here we have teams that aren't scoring more than 2.5, 3 are over. Brad Hodge, just credit to the bowling.
Yeah, I think backing up what VVS said, I think the bowling crew at this whole Test match has been very disciplined, and we only saw a couple of different plans from the Australians, maybe attacking a leg stump of Virat Kohli, but only for 5 or 10 minutes or so. Otherwise, they've been very disciplined on the off stump. Pujara continues to stay in his strengths and leave the ball and play defensive and grind this attack into the ground. But all in all, just a tough day of Test cricket, and that wicket of Virat Kohli late in the day was an important one for Australia.
Even when someone like Virat Kohli is struggling to score freely, there is some challenge that this wicket is posing. What is that challenge?
Yeah, I think the slowness of the wicket. So until and all the shots, whenever there is room offered on the back foot where the players are playing the cut shot, or it's really over pitched, or when Virat Kohli got a chance on the legs. But how many shots of the fast bowlers have been played on the onside? That means both the teams have done their homework right, and they're forcing or bowling the channel, the corridor of uncertainty. And I think the slowness of the wicket doesn't allow you to play a lot of on the right shots. And I think credit to the bowlers. On this kind of wicket, the margin for error is very, very less. And all you have to do is come bowl. Try to hit the top of off stump and pitch the ball up, and that's what the fast bowlers have done. Nathan Lyon is just unbelievable how consistent he hits that length. The rough, and someone who's an excellent player of spin bowling, Virat Kohli, to get him once again shows that his class. And this is after bowling so many overs consecutively, because we were chatting off air also that for any bowler, even if he's a spinner, the workload will be a lot. But to come and straight away land the ball on that length, which is, I would say, the length which is the good length for Nathan Lyon, was phenomenal to see.
I mean, Haji, it was just about when I saw for the first time in a long time a little bit of tiredness creeping into Nathan Lyon, in that he'd bowled 20 overs and then it was in the 21st over that he got the wicket eventually of Virat Kohli. You could see a sense of relief. He had a couple of reviews turned down or at least overturned for Cheteshwar Pujara. It was just when it was getting a little tired, end of the day, he still gets his reward. Just a thought on Nathan Lyon's spell?
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding. Tim Payne made a change and brought Travis Head on for 2 overs, but they yielded 13 runs, which the batsmen were pretty comfortable in playing. So he had to come back, and maybe just those 2 overs break, which allowed him to refresh. But all in all, he's been outstanding. And I think that if he wasn't playing against such fantastic players as spin, I think Pujara in particular has played him well with bat and with pad and negated that excellent bounce of Nathan Lyon. I think that the way he's bowling, he'd easily have 4 or 5 wickets against a lesser opposition. That's how well he's bowling.
Okay, well, let's compare how Nathan Lyon went first innings and second innings. We've got some assessment for you to look at, and a long spell towards the end of the day for Australia's premier off spinner. Now, the first innings line was more outside off than the second innings. It looks like he's targeted to go a lot straighter, Ajit. Down the leg side a bit more. I'm not sure what contributed to that, but maybe because he had the man at backward short leg bowling.
Possibly, or a lot more spin. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, with those numbers. I thought he bowled a lot more outside off stump today than in the first innings. Maybe first innings, in fact, he targeted. But again, stats tell you a different story. It felt that way.
He has a rough to aim at.
Yeah,
now.
you could
Maybe
see
that
how
rough was
consistently he
straighter.
could land the ball, and not just land it, actually bowl it there. There's no time for the batsman to actually step out. Someone as good as Pujara, a lot of times came down the pitch, couldn't quite get to the pitch or the ball, then had to use his pads. I mean, he's good enough to do that. Like Haji said, someone lesser or less skillful to play spin might have really struggled today. That's how well he's bowled. I mean, that drop chance of Rahul as well should have really been caught at leg slip. No, eventually got his reward, a big wicket. I think that's definitely given Australia a bit of hope, because if they can pick up early couple of wickets tomorrow, they're still well within reach of that score. So, no, exceptional effort. I think both the spinners, Ashwin and Nathan Lyon, yes, the conditions have helped them throughout this test match, but they've been exceptional.
It's almost like they're trying to set the standard and raise it with, before each other. Two adversaries, we compare them a lot. But how about Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli, the way they played Nathan Lyon? Now, you heard from Ajit, VVS and Haji that Nathan Lyon was excellent. The fact that he only got the 1 wicket was testament to how they played. The flick shot, we've seen, 35% in, so you can look at runs. Very little driving. Virat Kohli early on in his innings trying to go for an expansive cover drive and just managed to survive. But, a lot of flicks for singles. Now, I'm trying to see that if the line is straighter, that's where they look for their runs, VVS. Could that have probably been made a little harder? There was a man back, so that's where they resorted to get their runs, both Kohli and Pujara.
Yeah, anyone who plays with his wrist, and majority of the Indian batsmen play with the wrist. With the turn, they can play on the onside between mid wicket and mid on. Good thing about there it is. They're not looking to play square of the wicket, but they're looking still to play straighter, which is so important, because the turn he gets is sharp turn. It's not slow turn of the wicket. So if you're playing square of the wicket, then you always are giving a chance, especially with backward short leg there and short leg.
So
and
is that a low risk shot or a percentage shot, or is there still an element of risk when you're trying? That's the best way to play.
That's the best way, and that's for the balls which are pitched up. Not something which they're driving from off stump, outside the off stump. Using their wrist. That's for the ball which is pitched up.
But early on in his innings, Pujara did play one in the air.
Yeah, which went left off a mid-wicket.
Mid-on.
But the important thing is the amount of balls or the percentage of the balls which they defended, and that's so important. And that's very important, keeping in mind that Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant to follow. I think what Pujara and Virat Kohli have shown is it's very important to trust your defense. You just cannot, go out and play your natural game with the natural flair. You have to be very, very careful and very, very sure whenever you're playing the shots against Nathan Lyon, because tomorrow again the wicket will deteriorate a bit and the ball will start turning a little bit more. But 45% of those deliveries were defensive shots, which is so important.
Yeah, well done to Kohli and Pujara, keep Nathan Lyon at bay, but eventually Lyon did get his man. That was in the form of Virat Kohli, and he knows what that feeling is like. It's the 6th time that he's dismissed Kohli in Test cricket, and for Virat that is the most number of dismissals by anyone. Jimmy Anderson, we've spoken enough of the Anderson-Kohli heads-up match, and Stuart Broad. Adil Rashid features on that list, but Nathan Lyon head and shoulders of the other. That's something any modern-day bowler wouldn't mind taking home, Brad Hodge, the distinction of having dismissed Virat Kohli the most amount of times in Test cricket.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? It's a credit to Nathan Lyon. It just goes to show the skill of which he possesses. It's well documented how well Virat Kohli plays spin, and to pick him up 6 times, and Virat likes to dominate the bowling as well, and for for him to be contained for such a long period of time and then pick him up 6 times is phenomenal. There was some seriously good bowlers on that list, but we know that the Indian bowlers have got a huge amount of respect for Nathan Lyon. They understand that he's a very good spin bowler, and he's shown it, particularly in the last series in India and also, in the start of this series as well here in Australia.